Hello and welcome back to part 14 of how to make a board game in Unreal Engine 4. Where we left off in the last tutorial was we started the finishing out the battle mechanics and then identifying casualties. So we have the dice roll to buff the defender and the attacker. That bolster here, so in this case the attacker wins. And then this die rolls to determine the number of casualties. In this case would be 3, and that's where we left off. So we have to get that to flow through and then actually handle the casualties. Before we get started, quick plug, but if you wouldn't mind, I created my Steam page for Conquest of Kings, which is the board game I'm working on. All the same models, pretty similar mechanics to what we're doing in the tutorial. I'll put a link in the description, but if you wouldn't mind giving that a wish list, I would really appreciate that. But with that out of the way, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is, this is our kind of final battle widget, the battle outcome. We actually don't have the dice roll pulling through from here, so I want to do that first and then actually start to handle the casualties. So whoever loses, they'll have to choose which units to destroy based off the roll, and then retreat to an adjacent tile. So the first thing we'll do is, within our BP die, right, we have this line of get the dice roll, casualty die, that comes through and that runs to our game mode, die roll casualty. We don't have this built out. So what we're going to do is we'll promote this to a variable, the number of casualties, and plug that into the casualty die enumeration. And then we'll have to run another event which will actually update everyone's widget. Let's go into our PC turn-based. This is the battle outcome client. It's getting created and then set. So let's grab this, convert this to a validated Git. And we'll create a custom event. Let's call this update battle outcome client. And this will be replicated to run on only client and reliable. And then what I want to pass through here will be a integer. Let's do number of casualties. Now let's go into our battle outcome widget. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So we do have a variable in here, number of casualties. And let's just check, is that binded? Yep, and we have that bound to this text right here. So we'll just make a custom event, update casualties. Just didn't spell that right. Casualties. And we'll pull this down and pass this through and connect those. Okay. Let's come back to our PC turn-based, and off of our widget, update casualties, and we can just pass this through. Okay, and then off of this logic, I think what will be simplest is to grab our PC list. Let's do a for each loop. And update battle outcome client. So that's the event that we just created. Then we can just pass this all the way through. Perfect. Okay, so that should clear up our widget side. Let's just test it quick. Grab these two, drop them in, attack. 2 1s, the attacker should win. You won, and 3 casualties, boom, that's coming through there, and on the client side, it's coming through as well. So that's perfect. Now I got to think through how we want to do this. Because we have, when we attack a tile, we're getting the tile that the attacker is attacking, and the tile that we're attacking from. So we save references, I think, in both of these. Yeah, so attacker strength, we are taking the units on the tile we're attacking from and setting that as a variable. And on the defender strength, we're taking the units on the tile where the attacker is attacking, so the defending units, and setting that as a variable. So what we need to do is, let's see, and I think we're doing that in here, determine winner or loser. Let's see, we need something, this is distinguishing who won or lost. But I think we'll want to do this via player controller. So this logic is coming through and it's getting the dice rolls, which are included in this total attack and defender strength. If the attacker is greater than the defender wins, defender loses, vice versa. I think we want to actually create some better variables for this. So let's go ahead and do that. I think, yeah. So let's make a new variable. Let's call this losing PC. Defending. All right, we want player controller. Actually, I think it was like PC turn-based, so we call it. Yeah, PC turn-based object reference. And we can just drop this in at the end. Alt drag. And so for this case, the defending player controller will be the loser. And just copy and paste that down below. And grab our attacker. And in this case, the attacker is the losing PC. And I think actually, may just be easier to do. This is a variable too, so let's do another one, and let's just do attacker wins question mark. Let's make this a Boolean. And come off here. So if the attacker strength is greater than the defender strength, that'll set this to true, which means the attacker won. You just pass this through. And if not, it'll be false, meaning the defender won. And then we have that saved as which player controller lost. So I think it'll work. So then let's come back to our die roll casualty. Close out some of this stuff. And so after we do the die roll and we get the number of casualties, and that populates through to everybody's variable, let me think. Basically, we want the losing player controller, which we're getting here, to have to choose the number of units of casualties to effectively destroy. And then after that, withdraw their units to an adjacent tile, and then we'll have the attacking units move into that tile, assuming the attacker won. So basically how this will work is, actually, and we might not actually use this. I was thinking, right, we could do a Boolean check. If the attacker wins, cast the attacker, but because we already have this, we might not need that. So let me think about how to do this. Okay, so what we're going to do first is go to your main menu, units, and open up your VP Pawn Unit Master. So we have this decal in here. Let me just toggle this on just to show you. So, right, when we hover over a unit, it's yellow, and when we hover over an enemy unit, it's red. So you're on player 1, so it's highlighting these guys red. My friendly units are yellow. So I think we'll use that to kind of identify to the defender which units they have to um, which units they have to select to remove units for their casualties. So where do we have this? Yeah, and so we're doing that logic up here where when we hover, it turns on, and depending on if it's friendly or an enemy, changes the color. So let's just create another one. Are these material instances? No. Okay, so just click on any of these and do Control W to duplicate. And let's call this one Casualty. Oh, what's a good color? So we have red and yellow already. Maybe like a purple? That'll be fine for now. So I'm doing purple for mine. You might, decide to do different. I mean, the purple kind of sucks because it kind of looks like red. So maybe I can make this a little bit darker. Maybe make this a little bit more orange. Yeah, let's go like that. I want these colors to be pretty differentiated. Maybe friendly. I'm gonna make that green. There, green, friendly, orange, enemy, purple, casualty. I think that's fine. Okay, and so let's go back into our master, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit. Actually, we can do this somewhere else. So, first thing we're going to do is create another variable. Let's call this potential casualty ? By default, that will be false. And let's make a custom event. Just call this highlight casualty. And we're going to use this variable actually later. So let's pull off our decal. Maybe we can copy and paste some of this. And let's grab all this. Paste it. Okay, so when we run this event, we want this to be the unit highlight casualty, and then set this decal to true for visibility. And then we'll have to do a onClicked. So we have all that logic here. OnClicked, the player controller equals our own player controller. Not in the decision. Straighten this up quick. Basically, we're just going to need to create another branch on, are we doing the potential casualty? Let me look at this logic quick. So let's give ourselves a little bit of space. So I'm just going to drag all of this down a little bit. And I'm going to change this up a little bit. So this end is decision. That is getting triggered when we attack a tile. And I think what this is doing, if I remember right, is so that you can't, once you lock in your attack, you can't move your units again, right? So then it prevents you from being able to select them, because if you are in a decision, but if this is true, and we're doing the not, which flips it, but if this was true, then it would come off this. So I'm going to actually break this up a little bit. I'm going to do a couple different branches. So first branch will be, is the player clicking on this pawn the owning player controller? If that's true, then our next step of logic will be, are we not in a decision? So if we are in a decision, we can't continue into this line. And actually, before that, we're going to do our check of this potential casualty. So let's grab this, come off this to a branch. And just to make this, well, actually, this has been fine. So come off this. So are we being clicked by the owning player controller? If that's true, are we selecting our casualties? If that's true, we're going to go a different direction. So drag this down, and this will be our false. So are we not dealing with casualties right now? If we're not, which would be false, then we'll come down here. And if we're not in a decision, then we can do the select and unselect like we normally would. Let me just kind of clean this up just a little bit. This is looking a little bit better. Okay. A little less clustered. Okay, so if we are in a potential, if we're selecting casualties, I think effectively we basically just, so if we're clicking on this unit during our casualty selection, we essentially just want to destroy this unit. So to do that, let's grab our owning tile. So first thing we want to do is, let's pull up our tiles quick. These are assets, tile. So within our tiles, we have units on tile. Let's rearrange this. So we want to remove this unit from the units on tile. So let's grab units on tile. Get that. And we will remove an item. Actually, this might need to be done via an event, so it's done on the server. Because right now, when you click, assuming you're not the host, the client is going to run this on the client side. So then this logic will be running on the client side of the owning tile, which is why we have these server events here. So let's actually go into our tile, come into the event graph, and let's just see, do we have a remove line already? Let's just make one. So let's find some open space. I should put some comments around this at some point. Let's do a custom event and remove unit CAS for casualty server. And let's run this on the server, make it reliable. And input will be our BP unit master. Let's call this unit to remove. And we'll grab our units on tile. Remove item. The item we will remove is this unit we passed through. And then because it's done on the server and this variable is replicated, that will disseminate appropriately to the clients. So let's come back into our unit master. From our owning tile, we can be remove unit casualty server. And our input will simply just be get reference to self. Pass that through. Okay. And on this potential casualty, let's make this replicated. And up over here, let's make another custom event where we're doing our highlight. Let's call this toggle casualty, I'll call it mode. And let's make this run on server reliable. And an input will just be Boolean, let's do on off. Potential casualty set will be this. So this will come from the game mode to the army that lost, and we'll turn on the potential casualty. And the highlight, let's make this run on owning client and reliable. And then from here we can just do highlight casualty. So the client, so once we'll run this from the game mode, set this to true, run this highlight casualty, and let's do one more thing. Actually, in the potential let's grab the potential casualty, let's do a branch. So if this is true, do this. And if it's false, just turn this decal off. So once we resolve it all, we'll come back through the same logic, set this off, we'll come back through here, this will be false, and we'll turn off the decal. Cool. Okay, and after we remove the unit from the tile, the next thing we want to do is actually destroy it. I'm going to do another event from this for this because, again, we want this to be on the server, not the client side. So we'll just put that over here. Custom event, destroy unit, and have this run on the server, reliable. We can grab our get reference to self, and destroy actor. And after this, destroy unit. And I might just do a slight delay. I mean, 5 seconds should be more than enough. The reason I'm doing that is because we do need to give just a little bit of time for this to pass through and remove. We might be able to do without it, but at least for testing purposes, I just want to try it with this delay, just to make sure this works. And this will pass through. Okay, good. So I think that should establish a lot of the logic we need within the unit master. Let's come back into our game mode. So casualty die, passing this through. I'm going to do this here, but we'll probably move this to a function later on. Now I don't even know if we need this, but we'll see. Okay, so we have our attacker win variable. Let's make a branch. So after the completion of this loop, if the attacker wins, so if that's true, then all of the defending units, let's get those, do a for each loop. What do we call that in here? Toggle casualty mode. So for each loop of the defending units, because this is when the attacker wins, we will toggle casualty mode for each loop. Set that to true. And let's just copy and paste this down here instead of our defending units. So now if the attacker loses, then we need our attacking units to for each loop and toggle on. Okay, I think in theory this should work and we should be able to start destroying units. So let's test it. So I'm going to make the attacker just kind of lose on purpose. So let's just grab this footman and attack in the battle. Three, two, defender wins, we lose. Right now this actually isn't going to matter. Roll the 1. We're stuck in the camera mode. Okay, we have to get out of that. Okay, so we actually never set this up, but just for a reminder, this is our level blueprint. You don't actually need to go in here, but I'll walk you through it. So when we roll the dice for binding all these events, entering this player controller to the die cam, which is this logic. In our player controller, we set this event up. So reset PC camera, run on only client reliable. You should have this already. And then we're resetting our target back to our pawn, so effectively where we came from. But we're actually not running this anymore. So to do that, go into our battle outcome widget, battle outcome within our widgets, which is the one that has the casualty die roll and the kind of battle summary. And we have this button at the bottom, I'm just calling continue. So let me just delete all of this. I'll restart with you guys. So here's the continue button on clicked. And on our begin play, we're getting our owning player and creating this variable PC owner. So let's grab that. And now we'll do the reset PC camera, which is this event here. And then after that, remove from parent, we'll remove / destroy the widget. So now this should work. So let's come back in, grab the footman, attack, begin the battle. 1 versus 1, defender wins. Our casualty roll, 0. And now when I press continue, brings me back, and this unit was highlighted purple. No, it's not. So it's still destroyed. And this one we can't destroy because it wasn't actually part of the attack. But we got a couple problems. It shouldn't have. Let's go back into our unit master. We must have a on hovered somewhere. Selected. If it's on clicked. Okay. Yeah, so we want to add this potential casualty logic into our hovered and on hovered. So I'm just going to give it some more, give ourselves a little bit more space. Kick this over. So what was happening is when I hover on it, it then runs this logic. If it's friendly, you make it the friendly color, enemy, make it the enemy color. So actually we can keep all of this. Actually no, let's just go like this. Actually, maybe this is fine, and coming off of the friendly might be better. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, so after we check if it's the owning player controller hovering over it, let's give ourselves some space. Then we can bring this branch in. So if it is the owning player controller, kind of bring both of these down here just for a second. Copy this. So if this is true, get this decal on there. There we go. So if this is true, we want to set this to our unit highlight casualty. Although it should actually be doing that already. So maybe on the true, we actually don't have to do anything because it should be doing that. So just the false will do this line of information. This should work because we're already setting it visible and to the correct color already, so we just don't want that to be overridden. Let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, and on the unhovered, so I'm going to do the same thing, potential casualty, and come off the false. Okay, that should fix that part. So let's try this again. And this time I'm going to attack with both. Okay, the attacker is going to win this one. Get a 3. Okay, so attacker wins when it continue, right? Nothing changes. We're still in a decision, which is why nothing's changing. But for the defender, you lose, resolve casualties, hit continue. Come back to where we were. And, okay. They deleted, but we had an issue with this not coming down to the client. What I might do instead of run on owning client, let's do this as a multicast. So let's switch this event to multicast, which What multicast means is every client will see this, which I think is fine because everybody can be aware of which units can be casualties. Maybe we'll change that later, but let's try it again. Okay, looks like the defender is going to win this time. Okay, hit continue. Okay, so both of these units are highlighted purple. We hover over them, nothing changes. And we would have to get rid of 3. Now when we click them, they are deleting. So that, I think, is working exactly how it should. We set the build-in's conditional logic. And let me try to get one where the attacker actually wins. Let me do something like bring this footman to there, and then let's attack this tile. This way the attacker should win. So we can test this on the defender side. Okay, attackers win. And purple. And let's come back to here. Continue. It's not purple. Okay, so I'm gonna have to play around with that. It is deleting like it should, but it should be switching to purple, but it's not. So I'm gonna play around with it. Okay, I found the issue. It's kind of annoying with how replication works, but actually, get back. So how we had this before was we're setting the potential casualty here, and then that was being used to do this branch. But what's happening is should be exactly how yours looks. It's updating, but it's not replicating to the client before this branch is running. So it was returning false for the client. And it's just happening too fast. So we got 2 options, right? One, we could do a delay to allow this variable to set and replicate prior to highlighting. Or, what I think is actually better, is if we take this condition, pin this to here, and then pass this through to here, this will be more instantaneous. So it's still using the variable, which we have for other logic, but it'll pass through as we run this event with this true-false. So now when we test this again on the client side here quick, just going to move this guy up to the desert, and we'll attack him with both of these units. So now he is purple for the client, and the server also sees him as purple. Click him, he's deleted. So that is working well. I think the other thing I want to do here too is just to make it stand out a little bit better. When a unit is selected, we do this logic where he kind of lifts up off the ground. I'm going to do that again because I think it just visually makes it a little bit easier for person deciding, trying to just quickly look at who they have to destroy for those units to be popped up. So I just want to make sure there's no logic in here that would we're just going to do this unit selected MC. So come off of this server event and do unit selected MC. And let's test this one more time. Attacker wins. Yeah, so now he kind of pops up in the air and he's highlighted. I think that makes it a little bit better. And the last thing I want to do in this video quick, now I'm thinking of it, it'd be kind of cool to have like a little bit of a type of animation where, I don't know, unit falls over or something like that and then gets destroyed. So let's add that logic in. So it'll be pretty similar to what we were doing before. Unit selected MC, so let's see. Basically, just kind of want to roll it over to the side, and then we'll delete it. I think that's just a little bit better to look at versus the just abruptly being destroyed. So I'm just going to copy all this logic, put it over here. Let's do another custom event. Unit destroyed, MC. This will be replicated, multicast, reliable. And let's see, this is lifting it, and this is rolling it. Let's go into our viewport quick. So I don't know if we kind of want them to. We can't actually click it in. So I think we want yellow might be let's just try yaw of like 90. Let's see what that looks like. Unit destroyed MC. Okay. Let's come back to here, drag this out. Unit destroyed MC. Then do a little bit of a delay. Let's do a second. Let's test this one more time. The old footman over. In battle. Okay, so when we click on these should turn on. Yeah. Oh, something like that. What I might do too is maybe this be a minus 100. So it kind of drops a little bit. Yeah, I think that's fine. A little something at least. I think we're going to end it there. We'll do in the next video is the casualty number that will actually do something. So if we have 2 units in here, we roll a 1, then only 1 unit will be destroyed or need to be destroyed. And if it's greater than all the units, I think we'll just set it up to be automatic. So like if we attack here when there's 2 units as blue, and we roll like a 3, then the roll is greater than the number of units, so they'll both just automatically destroy because they're both dead. So we'll do that in the next video, and then for any surviving units, they'll have to choose a location to move to. And so the way I see that working is these guys are attacking here, and we win. Let's say we roll a 0. This unit has to move from this tile, so it can move anywhere adjacent to where it is that is traversable, so these mountains won't be able to. That isn't the tile that's being attacked from, so you'll be able to move to any of these. And then from there, I think that pretty much will close out our combat that we're needing to do. So we'll plan on doing that in the next video, and then from there, work on like some of the capturing mechanics. So we might have that now. Let me see, like the little flag. Yes, we have this. So just capturing this. I think I'll add that into it. In Conquest of Kings, I have like this little flag on important tiles for each player. So each player has a flag on like keeps and farms and stuff. These tiles, right, the color just changes, but I think I'll add that in just to give a little bit more significance to who holds what, just at a glance. But yeah, I'll start bringing that logic in. Obviously for me, if you capture 2 of the sacred sites at any one time, 2 to 3, win the game, it's game over. And then farms will supply, and then mines will give gold. So we'll start building in those capture mechanics, and then the econ part of the game, building units from your keep, and then add in some more of the turn stuff, right? Like that'll be super easy to add in, but right now you can just kind of move at will, which is a lot easier to do it that way for testing purposes. But we'll add that piece in, and so it actually starts flowing more turn-based. And yeah, after that, then we'll get into like main menu stuff, creating servers, inviting your friends, all that fun stuff, selecting the map. And then we should be in pretty good shape. So still a lot to do, but the battle stuff I think is the most complicated. And we're pretty close to resolving that. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any issues or can't get sent to work, just leave me a comment. I also created a Discord too, which I'll link in the description, but in there I've got a special channel just for Unreal Engine tutorials, so that can be a good place to get help too, and then you can post pictures and all that. So I think that's a good way to get some support if you're needing it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and again, let me know if you have any issues. Thanks.